Can you guys hear me now? I forgot I had myself on mute. I had myself on mute. Forgive me. I lots of technical difficulties. So let me start this again. Welcome to tonight's Let's Talk Autism. Give me 1 second so I can share this one more place. I am all out of whack. Let me see. 1 second, 1 second. Give me a second, you guys. Okay, here we go. So if you are brand new to our Let's Talk Autism, what this is all about, it's just open discussion where we come together to learn, share, and support one another. So Linda, I don't think will be here this evening. I'm gonna wait and see if Mr. Charles comes up. I do apologize for the little technical difficulty I had there, but I hope you guys can hear me okay. It's kind of dim in here because I don't have electricity in this room. I was getting an upgrade, electrical upgrade on this past Friday, and I had to leave before they could fully connect everything, get things together. So 3 of my rooms are dark, and this is one of them. So if it gets too dark in here, I will try to move into another area. But I hope you guys are okay. Mr. Charles, did you get the link? Did I put it in there? Let's see. Let me try it again. Okay. As I was saying before, we're waiting on Mr. Charles to come on up. I don't think Linda will be with us this evening. But I hope you guys are doing okay. How's everybody? Let's see who's here. Got Mr. Charles. Hey, Lori. How are you? No sound. Okay, we got that together. Good. Hey, Teresa, you all right? Hey, Kelly. And there's Mr. Charles.
Okay, here I is.
Here you is. Here you
Yeah.
is. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How about you?
Doing good. Doing good. All of the celebration festivities are over with for DeAndre. We had his graduation and his prom send off celebration. So it's been a busy week. Had a very busy 2 days back to back, but it's over. My baby is going into his next journey, and I couldn't be even more prouder than I am of that young man. But yeah, so things should be settled. It's over.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
went out and I gave a public talk earlier today,
Okay.
this afternoon, and then a couple invited Cindy and me over for dinner afterward, and so we just got home about an hour ago.
Okay. Okay. Um, let's see. I just seen Lori says I'm resting so I can do this. All right. Hi, Tim. How are you?
Hi, Tim. Hi, Lori.
Spencer says hello,
Spencer.
Mr. Charles. Hi, Spencer. Spencer says, does anyone's child idolize someone? My son's is his Aunt Brooke, my sister. And when you say idolize, what do you mean? Always wanting to be with her, or does he mock things that she does? Good to see you, even if you're tired. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. DeAndre and everything, and hope
Mhm.
that things go well with him in the future now.
Yeah, so he's going into that next phase of adulthood. He will be 18 in next month. Oh, time is just moving. And he will be attending an adult transition center, um, where he will start this summer. They're actually going to be doing job training and everything. So he'll have a little summer job at the center where he'll be attending. Okay, Spencer says he always wants to be with her, loves everything about her. She's his best friend, if you will. Oh,
Okay. Well, that's nice.
that sounds like they have a great relationship. A great relationship. That could be a very good thing. So I'm not gonna say my son idolizes anyone in particular. I mean, there's moments where he wants to be with me. There's moments when he wants to be with dad, and then there's moments when he wants to be with one of his siblings. So uh, all the same, I guess. Anyone else? Anyone else have their child idolizes anyone in particular in the family or outside of the family? Lori says, my daughter idolized Britney Spears. Oh, okay. Until she found out that Brit was taking drugs. Okay. Then she mourned losing her idol through judging her harshly. Oh, oh. She didn't like that. She didn't like that.
Well, I had kind of an opposite experience. You know, I liked. Well, I was really into mysteries, into whodunits when I was a teenager. And anyway, there was a series based on the Mike Shane mystery series from Brett Halliday, and I watched that every week. Well, then they canceled the show after the third season, and they put the Dinah Shore show in its place. And I held a grudge against Dinah Shore for decades afterward, after I fully understood that she had nothing to do with that decision. That was a decision by the network. And it was because the show just wasn't, the ratings weren't good enough on that show. But still, I held it against Dinah Shore for decades afterward.
For decades, Mr.
Yeah.
Charles. So, for all of you who are new here, please come on in. As you come on in, please show us some love. Thumbs up. We just gather here every week on Sunday. It's open discussion where we talk about things that matter to us as uh, parents, caregivers, and those of us who are on the spectrum, as our favorite, Mr. Charles. So if you have a question, you want some parenting advice, remember we're not doctors, but you just throw your question in the chat. And if you are someone who can help with that question, please be sure to chime in. That's what it's all about, us learning, sharing, and supporting one another. Okay, he always wants to be with her, loves everything about her. Okay, we read that one. Okay, we read that one. I'm all out of place here. I have the same situation with my son, always wanting to be with me. Oh,
Well, that's nice too.
yeah. You're his safe space. We
Oh,
will be
that's great.
baby. June the 20th. Joshua will have a brother.
All right.
Congratulations. That's awesome. That's awesome. So, we had a very good response to a question that I put up in the parenting group, um, about what advice would you give a parent uh, that has a loved one that was newly diagnosed with autism. And we had some great answers and very supportive answers. So, what would you guys, since you're here, what advice would you give a new parent? What about you, Mr. Charles?
Well, I actually responded to that one,
Uh,
and I said, first of all, view the diagnosis positively. Realize that a couple of generations ago, I mean, back 75 years ago, when I was a toddler, medical science knew very little about autism, and what little it knew was mostly wrong. What little it thought it knew was mostly wrong. Let me put it
Okay.
that way. And so, I didn't get diagnosed till much later. You know what you're dealing with. That's the important thing, and try to be as optimistic as possible regarding your child, and just do the best you can for your child. That's the thing. Try to look at it positively. Try to look at it optimistically, and remember, one piece of good news right off the bat is, you know what you're dealing with. Parents in your shoes 75 years ago had no idea.
No idea. Wow.
And if
And
they,
a lot of children, got misdiagnosed. Um,
and if your child did get diagnosed with autism, if you're the mother,
mhm.
you'd get blamed, because medical science generally accepted Bruno Bettelheim's cold mother theory, which is based on scientific studies that he never actually did. He
Mhm.
made the whole thing up.
And
That
please, you guys, know that it is not your fault. It is normal for us as parents to feel that we did something wrong, but it is of no fault of yours. So please try not to blame yourself. Go through the emotions. It's normal. It's normal. Go through those stages of grief. I went through them. And then I finally landed at acceptance. And, I would, I would give the world to my baby. I don't know what I would do without him, actually, even though he drives me crazy sometimes. But, I, I, I don't know what I'd do without him. Okay, let's see what we got here. Kelly says, be kind to yourself and your child. If you feel strongly about something to benefit your child, hold tight to that. I realize that there are professionals. However, you know your child. Right, right, exactly. Because sometimes you have to even explain to the professional that, yeah, some things, that's not the case. This is my child. What you're saying is not the case here. But
the
yeah,
thing I'll say about professionals is, all professionals are not equal by any means.
right,
Um, some really care about you and the child, and are going to, go out of the way to do their best to be helpful. Some, it's just another patient. Uh, go by the textbook, whatever the textbook says, and some, even may view you and your child's special needs as the burden. I don't want to deal with this. So, realize that not all professionals are equal.
right. Um, Please remember a thumbs up. Even if you're sitting in the background, you don't have to say nothing, but at least show us a little love. Show us a little love. Laura says it doesn't change your life. Finding out your baby is going to need a lot of one-on-one. It will be an adventure. It will be great at times. It will be hard. We can help, yes, through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Doesn't change your love, will not change your love for your baby. Spencer says, I would say take it each day at a time. It can be a blessing. With Joshua, he's so smart. Oh, when he gets angry, I give him a weighted blanket. I strongly recommend one. Love the child. It changes nothing. For me, I just had an answer of why. You just had an answer of why, Spencer. But yeah, you are absolutely right. It changes nothing. Changes nothing. Hey, Jacquees, how are you? She says,
Quiz.
be kind to yourself. Don't think that you are alone, right? Because you're not. Ask questions. Know the IEP vocabulary. Get people in your corner. Advocate. You got this. Yes, you do. Definitely, definitely. Thank you for that. Spencer says, so far, only issue I have is with the new teachers. I want a teacher with experience with autism, but you can't always get that. And you are so right. Um, I would say it's like luck. And you will have teachers that know about autism, but some are just not passionate about what they do. I know I experienced a little bout when DeAndre was in middle school. You know, he had a parent that was passionate, but the teacher, on the other hand, um, wasn't so much. But he did have a wonderful elementary school teacher in Paris, and he also had a wonderful high school team. So yeah, they need to. I mean, if you get in this field as an educator, make sure the passion is there. Don't just take it because, well, we all need a paycheck or we need money, but don't just throw yourself into a career that has to do with special needs kids because it takes a special someone to deal with or and educate our loved ones who have an understanding and know how to handle our loved ones. So, yeah. FYI, all teachers do not specialize in special needs, and all special needs do not specialize in autism. Yeah, yeah. So I think it again, if for those of you who are thinking about getting into that type of career, make sure your heart is there. Make sure you want to learn all there is to learn about autism. Um, make sure you learn the individuals that you work with because autism does not look the same for everyone. So it takes a special one, someone who wants to take time to learn about it, get to know autism. Teresa says, you got to love yourself and love your child for who he or she is. I love and admire my son for who he is kind, smart, kind hearted, cheerful, and always happy. Oh, that's beautiful, Teresa.
That's good.
Yeah. Spencer says, my sister is going to college to be a teacher because of Joshua. She wants to work with special needs children. She loves children. Okay. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And hopefully her heart is in the right place. Um, I know you just said she loves your son, but hopefully her heart is there to deal with the rest of the world of autism. Laura says, my son made up the weight weighted blanket, I swear. He would tell me to be the hamster mom. The hamster mom. The hamster had babies and would get on top of her babies. My baby son wanted me to get on all for the weight. His idea, the weighted blanket. So I got on top and giggled. He cheered up. Oh, he needed that sensory. He needed that sensory of the weight, and who better to get it from than mom? Kelly says Jordan had wonderful teachers when he was younger. As he became a teenager and young adult, I saw less patience. Okay. Yeah, we actually had the in between. Again, it sometimes it's just a stroke of luck where you find passionate teachers or you know that passion from your child's team of educators, therapists, um, doctors, teachers, all of that. And the other question we had in there, which a lot of parents have issues with when it comes to our children with autism, and that's potty training. So we go over this all the time, but it doesn't hurt to continue to share tips and advice. So, does anyone have any advice, potty training tips specifically? Because I've seen a couple, um, uh, few parents that have issues with number two. Does anyone have some good suggestions to help with number two and number one, but number two specifically? I know I had that issue with DeAndre. He wasn't fully potty trained until he was about, I'm not going to say fully, he was partially at 11. And then it kind of continued until finally at about 14, 15, he got it. He got it. But we went through the phases of smearing. Um, he would do that often, and I always thought it was some kind of sensory thing. The funny thing is, he would go into his sister's closet. Now, this was when he was younger, maybe about 2 or 3. Instead of in his room, he would go into his sister's bedroom closet and close the door and do his smearing. So she had a big old mess.
Oh,
Um,
hmm.
right. And we don't understand it to this day. Now I understood it was like he wanted his privacy. He knew that I had to go somewhere private, but let it be my sister's room. It's really funny now, but back then it was like, what is going on here? Um, so yeah, but eventually he finally got it, and it took work. And look, you guys, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, as long as you have the patience and get the help, try what you can try. It is okay if your child is not potty trained. Do not let anyone shame you. You know, um, you're not alone. It could be sensory issues, it could be anything. Just keep working with your child. It'll click. For some of them, it will click, and for some of them, it may not. But yeah, it took us 14 years before my son was fully potty trained. Um, Jacques says, many of y'all not know my child Jasmine was diagnosed in autism for 3 years, then not diagnosed in it, anxiety. Now being retested for autism. Wow, really? The roller coaster of emotions and diagnosis, the back and forth info you will hear. Know that there may be multiple diagnosis. Research each one. Yes, yes, definitely do your own research.
Yeah,
I'm
getting the
sorry you had to go through that. Go ahead, Mr. Charles.
yeah, getting a girl diagnosed too can be more difficult than getting a boy diagnosed.
And why is that though, Mr. Charles? Why do you
Well,
think it's more difficult for girls being diagnosed than boys?
I think there are two factors. One is the fact that statistically, you know, you know, 4 out of 5 autistic people are male. Although I think that may be diagnosed and not necessarily the overall statistic. I think it is more common in males than females, but maybe not as prevalent as that 4 out of 5 would indicate. But the other thing is that I think it manifests somewhat differently in girls, manifests itself somewhat differently. And that's the other reason. So, the first doctor diagnosed it probably was right. And another doctor comes along, no, I don't think she's autistic. It doesn't seem to fit all the right criteria, and that may be because she's manifesting it a little differently because of being a girl.
And so the girls tend to be able to mask, so to speak, their autism more so than boys. Um, okay. Kelly says, my son still wears pull ups. He can go potty on his own with assistance and will still have messes. Okay. Yeah, I went through that too, Kelly, on our road because he still had problems cleaning himself. And every now and then I always go behind him to make sure everything is good, but he's gotten better. And that's through a lot of ABA therapy. I have to thank our ABA tech. She did an awesome job through the years. She worked with DeAndre and the potty. But yeah, I feel you on that one. Hi, Monica. My son had a difficult time pushing number two out. I think it's part diet, like a veggies and fiber, and part sensory. The doctor prescribed Marilax. Marilax helps to soften his bowels, making it easier for him. It's been a game changer. He's been successful with number two ever since. Okay, so with that being said, he's been successful with number two. So he's able to go to the potty and recognize that he has to go, and it's been successful. It's cleaning behind himself good too. Because I hear a lot of parents have to take the Marilex because of issues going on in the gut. um, I have to say, DeAndre never had a problem with that. But I'm glad that solution works for you. And I hope he's able to go to the potty on his own without too much effort from mom or dad to help out. Hey, Tanya, how are you?
Hi, Tanya.
I used to say you when they were born and say the poo was smelly. They learned from the beginning that poo was smelly and to get rid of it into the toilet. Okay. Yeah, I heard girls' symptoms present very differently than in boys. Yeah, that is very interesting. Um, for a minute, not like my granddaughter, she was diagnosed with ADHD first. She's 11 years old now. And then they gave her the autism diagnosis maybe around 7, 8ish. But I, I don't know. I kind of always knew she was on the spectrum. She's on a much higher level. Well, where DeAndre is level 3 and would be considered still nonverbal. She's verbal. She knows how to ask for things, but certain things, you know, um, she's not able to communicate well, but she talks really good. And she has a lot of sensory issues. She does the spin around and walking back and forth. Um, so yeah, I guess I could see that a little bit. Maybe because boys, especially with that ADHD, if they're very hyperactive, that could help with the diagnosis. That could be one helpful part of the diagnosis for boys. Start talking to them right away from birth. Okay, that's advice um, for a newly diagnosed. Um, what is that? Oh, free autism class for parents. Okay, thank you, Jacquees.
Well, I think that start talking them right from birth applies to all kids because obviously at birth you don't know about autism. The
Yeah,
diagnosis
that's true.
can't happen until sometime later.
Yeah, Jordan also takes a stool softener. Okay. Yeah, I heard a lot of parents having issues with their child and going number two. Um,
Yeah, from time to time, again, this is on the advice of the pediatrician. My parents would give me an enema.
okay. So you had gut issues. It wasn't a scary thing like I'm scared to
Uh,
go.
it wasn't that. It was just sometimes I got constipated, and the pediatrician advised my parents to give me an enema.
Okay.
One pediatrician we had at least did.
Okay. Monica says he doesn't clean himself well. We're working on that. I show him how to wipe and help him clean himself afterwards. He goes the same time of day every day. Okay, that's good. As I give him juice with the Marilax when he gets home from school. So that's good. Schedules. Schedules are good. Schedules are good. Thank you, Monica. I think kids with multiple diagnoses may have low muscle tone that can cause BM potty issues. Okay.
Yeah,
When you say multiple, well, I guess DeAndre has multiple, but I guess for some kids, yeah, that probably would be true. Yeah.
yeah, and I think maybe too. And she's speaking of multiple diagnosis. Maybe when one of those is epilepsy, which I know has a higher than average incidence among autistic people. I'm glad I don't have that, but I know that autistic people are more likely to have epilepsy than people who are not autistic.
Mhm. How many of you guys, how many of your loved ones have epilepsy? Anyone in the chat, your loved one have epilepsy? You guys, come on, thumbs up. We got a few people in here. Let's show some love to the community. You don't have to speak. You can stay in the background if you want to, but please share some love if you're watching. If you're watching, we'd appreciate it. It'll help our community. Not yours. Okay. I've also heard epilepsy can present itself later in life as, oh, really? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think
What do you call those? There's instances like when the child stares, there, what
petit
kind of,
mal,
what is
petit
it?
mal.
Okay.
Grand mal is where there's actual seizures. Petit mal seizure is one where the child just goes blank for about 10 seconds and then snaps out of it.
Now, can that turn into a grand mal or epilepsy?
Better ask a doctor who
No.
specializes in that. One thing
Okay.
I do know, though, I know this from when my sister had brain cancer that she died from. But when she first had the first symptom was a seizure, and I looked up in the Mayo Clinic medical guide, and they said there that after age 25, seizures almost always are caused by a tumor.
Oh,
So that
wow.
means so that up to age 25, somebody, could start manifesting seizures due to epilepsy. But they said after 25, there's a seizure, and you've never had a seizure before. It's almost certainly a tumor.
Okay. Okay. That's another word for it, silent seizures. Okay. Yes, low muscle tone. Jasmine specialist told me years ago their body and brain have to connect. Once it does, they will go to the bathroom. She doesn't go every day, but when she goes once a week, she stops the toilet. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
What do y'all think about diet of people on the spectrum? Does changing it help? Um, I know we had this discussion a while back. A few parents said it helps with behaviors, changing diets. A lot of parents says it could get expensive and they didn't notice any changes. I myself, I don't believe in diet changes too much. I haven't tried any on DeAndre. I mean, I do believe in not much sugar intake, but all of that extra stuff. I've heard about gluten-free diets are just expensive, and this is what I heard. It could work for anybody. They're just expensive to maintain and really doesn't um, change things. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, gluten free. If you have someone who has celiac disease, something like that, gluten intolerance, celiac disease, yeah, you need gluten free then. But
yeah,
when it's not something there's a medical need for, yeah, I'm skeptical of it.
yeah, yeah. And they got so many different types of diets. Try this, but yeah, I'm with you, Tanya. The sugar, especially the sugar, um, that 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 sugar can get that hyperactivity going. So
A
yeah, I
lot
believe in
depends
that.
A lot depends on what diet changes you're talking about. If you're talking about change to a more balanced diet from one that's not balanced, in other words, get the child to diversify his eating, to the extent possible. Yeah, by all means. If you can get the child to consume a more nutritious diet, go for it. Absolutely, that's bound to have benefits. But some of these other things, they say gluten-free diet for someone who doesn't have a clear, specific medical need for that, I question it.
Yeah, and please be careful, you guys. I know a lot of us as parents, we have that hope, that wishful thinking, and you will see someone come about and say, "I have this miracle diet," but you end up spending X amount of money, and so just be careful. And before you switch or try any diet, do your research. Do your research. Do not just listen to the first person that comes along. I mean, get the books, get to Google, do your own research, because a lot of people are just what they call snake oil. They're out here
Yeah,
selling that snake oil, and you need to really be careful. We get a lot of stuff that come on, you know, under my post form, a doctor that can perform miracles with this certain drug. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. Be careful.
anything that anybody who promises miracles, watch out.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Beware of people who promise miracles. The saying applies just as much when it comes to medical or alternative medical treatments as it does to buying any other kind of merchandise or investment or whatever. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Yes. I haven't made any drastic changes to diet, but I do feel like sugar does make them extra hyper, like sodas and candies. We try to keep that to a minimum. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's good advice. That's
Yeah.
when it's sound, nutritious advice. That's one thing. When it's somebody promising a miracle, that's another story.
hmm and one more thing with that, please remember, even when you change the diet, the autism is still going to be there. For those of you who have that belief, if you change your diet, it's going to change things. A child diagnosed with autism or born with autism will become an adult with autism.
Yeah, and you can look at me. I try to look at what I eat every day, and I try to eat a healthy diet, and I've taken off quite a bit of weight in the last couple of years with it, but hasn't changed the autism.
Um, in my experience, it's definitely sugar is a big issue. I totally agree with you, Charlie. Medically, of course. Please talk to your children's pediatrician. Yes. Lori, my kids are 32 and 38, but my memories are vivid. So we are at this stage now where my son got married and had a medical miracle baby. or call it a medical mistake. And they trusted doctors who told them that his wife could never get pregnant. Now they have a baby. Oh, yeah, that's a miracle. So I am at this stage now. Let me see if
Yeah.
there was something else to that because I can't see. Give me 1 second. I just have to make sure, Lori, because, oh, okay, that was the end. Okay. Well, congratulations on the miracle baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Monica says, I'm trying to reduce my son's sugar and dye intake. Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard red dye can be an issue too.
Yeah. That's a good move there, Monica.
Mhm.
That's a good move. You see, there's a big difference between that and going for some diet that some bizarre diet that promises a miraculous cure for something. A world of difference between the two. Following sound nutritional advice is a good thing. You can never go wrong with that.
Mhm. I believe exercise is very important too. Oh, yeah, definitely exercise. Definitely. Okay. So yeah, if you know of a parent whose child has just got diagnosed, make sure you share some great advice with them, potty training. Been thinking about that too. Okay. Okay, you guys. If anyone wants to come on up, if you have something to share, some good, some bad, not so good, great news, you're more than welcome. If you want to share something inspirational, if you have an organization or a group that you are doing some wonderful things for autism or the parents, feel free to come on up. I'm going to leave the link in a second. We usually give the last 10 minutes of our discussion to those. Open it up. We open the floor up for those of you who are new here. And everybody else, come on now. Thumbs up. Please show us some love. Right now, we are in a bit of a struggle. Jonathan gets sick practically every month. And more recently, these last 3 times, he gets into the habit of hitting his face. Oh no. He finally got used to us putting on his helmet to prevent self harm, but now he just goes for his face or body, constantly hitting it. Has anyone ever experienced this? It's a new habit and it's terrible.
Any
Anyone,
idea why he does this? What's
what
driving
triggers?
him to do this?
Yeah, what triggers it? As you come in, please hit the like button, even if you're not staying. Show some love, hit the like or the love button. My nephew doesn't exercise. Okay. At the he doesn't. What about walking, Chrissy? Does he like to walk? That would be a good start. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. We're coming up on our last 10 minutes of the hour. And any of you who would like to come on up, again, if you want to share something inspirational, motivational, if you just want to say hi, if you have a business or organization, a group, of course, it has to have something to do with autism or related. Come on up and share. If you have the event coming up, feel free. I put the link in the chat. Follow the link and come on up. Kelly says, on the subject of potty training, my grandson Riker tried his potty chair. He will pee on the floor and still clap for himself. Oh,
Oh,
well, he knows He's not supposed to pee on himself. I mean, I guess that could be a good thing, right? He's
Yeah.
getting there. Getting there. Sickness like last time he had COVID. Oh, poor baby.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
stepped struck the month after. Then and currently he oh poor baby. I'm sorry, Tanya. Oh. Um
Hi, Teresa.
yeah,
Hi.
it does fly. Hey Teresa, it flies fast.
I
He's
have a
so
comment
proud of
about
himself.
the one that was asking about her son
Mhm.
hitting himself. I went through
Okay.
the same thing with my son
Okay.
when we were at a karate tournament. He did the same thing. He would bang his head on the wall, on the
Mhm.
brick walls, hit himself. It's
Oh,
basically stimming. He was basically stimming, and he would be doing that, but he didn't have any red marks and all that. I had to take him out of that situation
okay.
and give him a big old hug so he didn't
So he
hurt
stopped.
himself
Mhm.
because he did the same thing and all that.
Now, did your son have to wear the helmet?
He had a martial art helmet and all
Okay.
that, and I was before I was putting it on him to get ready for a sparring tournament he was doing. He started banging his head on the brick
Yeah.
walls,
Hi,
and then
Jaquez.
Hey,
and then
Jaquez.
hitting himself in the face
Oh no.
and all that
So
because it
that
was a
it
lot
was
of
like
people there.
sensory. He
Yes, it was a sensory
yeah,
thing for
he
him.
needed that
I
sensory.
had to take him out.
Oh,
And I took him out of karate because of that.
okay. So he stopped
Yeah,
doing
now he doesn't do any of that self-harming anymore.
okay, good. Hi, Jacquees. How are you?
How are you doing?
Hello.
Hi,
It's been a
Ashley.
long
Hi, Ashley.
time.
Yes, very long time. She says don't
Hmm.
let them watch wrestling. I ban that from our TV.
Mm.
Yeah, for some kids, they don't watch the wrestling. It just comes. They
Yeah,
just
it comes
Yeah.
and all that.
mhm,
My son
Yeah.
didn't watch wrestling, but he still did it.
Yeah.
mhm.
It really depends on the child. Because, I mean, I remember when I
Hmm.
was a teenager, I used to like to watch wrestling, and I didn't hit myself or anything when I watched it.
So when he starts doing that, him and my brother will start just wrestling and all that to get him calmed
Okay.
down and all that.
Okay, because he needs that type of sensory that
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So hi Jacquees. What's going
Hello.
on? How are you?
Sorry, you guys. My allergies has been acting up, so it's messing my voice. But I just been I was like sleeping, and I woke up and I saw you right away, so I wanted to come on and share and everything.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know, like I said in the chat, about the retested. They're gonna retest Jasmine.
Okay.
Um, so long story short, in learning my Jasmine, there's on Facebook. You can look us up. Learning with Jasmine. I
Learning with
advocate. I share.
Jasmine, guys.
Yes, I share multiple stories. Um, I even share growth for parents. So our mindset changes. Um, if we change our mindset, then our children's behavior may change. So I had to really focus more for the past 2 years of how I internal stress
Mhm.
because I was letting out non-verbally and everything like that. She fed into my energy, so it reacted to her. So I deal with that more so with the advocating and all my stories about Jasmine. But I wanted to share with you guys of a little praise moment. Here
Okay.
we go. Is that she is now in an all-inclusive program.
Okay.
So
Okay.
how do we get to there? I will share. once we get off, I will share the link again. I think I shared a few weeks ago when I was on about a book. This lady and I, we we didn't know each other. We were in a meeting on a Zoom for something else
Okay.
that had nothing to do with autism,
Okay.
but had to do with special needs children. So it was an invitation from a special needs teacher who thought about me as a parent. So I
Okay.
was, telling them about my daughter's story, and she messaged me on Zoom, and she asked for me to speak with her afterwards. And it was an author, a special ed specialist,
Okay.
who was writing a book about how a guide for parents if you choose to have your child into an all-inclusive program, different
Okay.
steps and guides on how to do it. Now for me, I didn't have a guide. I was researching myself, and so I wanted to share with you guys if you are interested in an all-inclusive program. And what I've learned um in my struggles, right? All the
Mhm.
crying, all the research, or whatever, and this is all in a one book. You don't have to research. It's only one book. Okay,
Okay.
so I wanted to share that with you guys. So she is all she's finished up her sixth grade.
Hmm.
She is doing beyond awesome,
Awesome.
independently. I remember her schools were telling me that she will not graduate. This was third grade.
Okay.
She is not capable. And I said, oh, no, no,
Oh, wow.
no. Yeah, so you will probably hear that around second or third grade, depending on. She got her first C,
Okay.
her first C. you know, so she's on the getting on the bus, independently. I watch her. She's waving. She's making new friends.
Awesome.
It's everything that parents could imagine, right? So instead of you trying to research in different websites, it's all in one book. It's like on
Okay.
Amazon. So I will share it with you guys when we're done.
Okay.
If you're
Make sure you
interested.
put that in the
Yes, I will.
chat.
Yes, I will.
Hmm.
So, and it's also on my page too. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. Um, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Inclusion inclusion is very, very important. Very
Mm-hmm.
important. There are schools that include, so when they get the book, they can find out how to
Mm-hmm.
look for schools that are all inclusive for our babies.
Mm-hmm.
That's important, you guys.
Very important.
That's important. One of the things that I have to share when my son graduated um, this last Thursday,
I know I saw
I
it.
I I love the fact that he was able to walk with his graduating class,
mm-hmm.
him and his classmate. It was beautiful. I cried
Mm-hmm.
through the whole thing, not just for him, but because they all walked together.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a let's let them go first and get them out the way. They took their turn. I mean, it was just for the school, but they took their turn, went by alphabetical order. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I love to see the inclusion. The other thing is at school he played unified basketball where the mainstream students with the special needs students they played together as a team. So that's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. So you
Mm-hmm.
guys, inclusion is everything.
That's what you're
Every
advocating for.
Yeah,
You're
definitely.
advocating for the resources. You're advocating for support. I mean, like she is in an all-inclusive program, but
Oh,
has special needs support.
that's
It can
that's
happen.
awesome.
Okay,
See,
you guys.
that's
So
awesome.
never give on your babies. Never give up on your babies. This is what I have. You know. Um, this is what I've been advocating for, and to see her. She has 2 more weeks. She is going to be in a all-inclusive summer camp.
Okay.
And then she's going to be going to the school that my mother goes to next year, which is great.
All right.
All right.
That's beautiful.
That
Mhm.
is beautiful.
Celebrate. And thank you,
Mhm.
Tanya. I see it in there. Yes, congratulations. Okay, you guys, um, we've come to the end. I appreciate each and every one of you. For those of you who are new here, we're here every Sunday, except for, holidays or sometimes things happen. But join us on Sundays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same place, same time. Uh, and like I said, if you have anything you want to share, you can always come on up. This platform is for us to learn, share, and grow together here, learning about autism. So thank you guys tonight. On your way out, please hit that like or that love button. Show us some love over here. Show us some love. Any last words, Mr. Charles?
Just encourage everyone to stay positive. Be as optimistic as you can regarding
Mhm.
your child. Do the best you can for your child, and you know your child best. And
Mhm.
that's the thing, keep in mind. And view the fact that you have a diagnosis positively, because 75 years ago, when I was a toddler, I'm 77 now, um, medical science knew very little about autism. Even 60 years ago, when I was in my late teens, they still knew very little about autism. Um, and much of what they thought they knew was wrong. So, be glad that you have a diagnosis. You know what you're dealing with.
Yes. Teresa?
I agree with Mr. Charles. It's
Mm-hmm.
you gotta just love yourself and love your child and have a
Yes.
safe summer.
Mm-hmm. Jacquees, the last words?
Again,
Oh,
you are you are the best for your child.
yes.
You are awesome. You can do this. You got this. You have the all the community. We are in this together.
We are in this together. Yes. All right,
Mhm.
Mine's going to
everybody.
eighth grade next year.
Huh?
My,
Say that.
my son's going to eighth grade next year.
All right.
Very
Another
good.
reason to celebrate.
There we
Oh
go.
Very good.
yes, the big milestone.
There we go.
Okay, everybody. We will see you next week. Same time, same place. See you guys. Oh, book club. Gonna be starting that up. I'll be in that group in a couple days so we can rev it on up. I'll be out of town in a couple weeks, but we're gonna rev up this book club. All right, everybody, and we'll probably get that book that you mentioned into the book club. So make sure you post the link.
Yes, I will.
And you guys make sure you visit Learning with Jasmine, right? I put that link
Yes.
in there also. All right, see you guys later. Appreciate
Bye.
and love each
Good
and every
night,
one.
everyone.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.